Welcome to MMA Tonight. I'll be covering the top headlines from today in MMA. So guys, at the UFC 200 press conference on Friday, there was much speculation as to whether or not the UFC would make an announcement regarding who will fill the main event slot at UFC 200. During the press conference, UFC President Dana White announced that after much speculation, Nate Diaz will remain on the card. However, White gave no word on who Diaz will be fighting. Now guys, when asked if there was a chance of McGregor still fighting at UFC 200, UFC President Dana White stated, "Listen, I just don't see how that's fair. He, Nate Diaz, came in from Stockton days ago. Poland, Brazil, and the list goes on where these people have come from all over the world. And I get it, it's tough when you have to leave everything you got going. The fight's 3 months away. The fight's still 3 months away. That's why we do it this early, so that we try not to interfere with their training, their lives, and everything else. It's just part of the deal. These guys came." Now, when asked point blank if the door is now closed for Conor, White stated, "Yeah, do you see Conor? Yes." Alright guys, so it looks like the UFC asked Khabib Nurmagomedov to fight at UFC 200. So according to UFC lightweight Khabib Nurmagomedov, the UFC recently got in touch with him to gauge whether he would be interested in a matchup against GSP in the main event of the landmark UFC 200 event. Yesterday, the UFC called me with a proposal to hold the main bout of the evening against Nate Diaz or against George St. Pierre, Khabib stated during a live interview on Match TV. "They hope that I will take the fight, but it is 4 days after the month of Ramadan and it would be hard physically to fight 5 rounds. I'll be back in September and October." Well, there you have it. So would you guys have been excited to see Khabib versus George St. Pierre or Nate Diaz at UFC 200? Alright, so Nate Diaz stated that he's not interested in fighting at UFC 200 unless it's against Conor McGregor. So everyone expected the UFC to announce who Nate Diaz's replacement opponent would be for UFC 200 at the presser. Now, while UFC President Dana White didn't announce Diaz's new opponent for the event, he did confirm that Diaz will in fact remain on the card despite reports that indicated he'd been pulled. At the press conference, Nate was asked who he would like to fight, and he stated, "I came to fight Conor McGregor, and I don't really have too much interest in anybody else. I don't have any interest in fighting at all, but if that's what we were gonna do, I thought we were gonna do it." So guys, who do you think should fight Nate Diaz at UFC 200? Alright guys, so Conor McGregor fires back at Dana White's comments at the presser. So UFC President Dana White stated at the press conference that the door was now closed for McGregor to fight at UFC 200. Dana explained that there were fighters at the press conference who flew in from all over the world and it wasn't fair for McGregor to skip the event. Dana White also went on to point out that at one point Jose Aldo attended a press conference the day before his sister's wedding while doing his media rounds as champion before UFC 194. Now, UFC featherweight champion Conor McGregor took to Twitter to fire back at Dana White. Conor tweeted, "Everyone flew in, respect, but not everyone up there made the company $400 million in 8 months." So guys, are you with Dana White on this one, or do you agree with Conor McGregor? Okay guys, so Jose Aldo is taking shots. Jose Aldo may have lost to Conor McGregor in just 13 seconds when the pair fought at UFC 194. However, that didn't stop the former featherweight champion from taking a shot at McGregor on Twitter. Conor, who refused to fulfill his media obligations ahead of his UFC 200 scrap with Nate Diaz in July, was pulled from the card despite the UFC attempting to offer to move his gym to Vegas while he was promoting the event. So guys, Aldo posted a pic on Twitter and stated, "Training here in Vegas last night because some of us can train while still promoting the fight." Ouch. Hey guys, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment.